I need the internet to tell me what I did wrong. I can't believe I just said that. All of these skirts are based upon the exact same pattern. The idea is that this is flat me. You do not draw inside the lines, because if it's inside the lines, it's inside me. Or it's just going to be really, really tight, and I'm going to need to wear foundation garments that make me feel like I'm in a sausage. Not fun and not something I do. Like foundation garments, if you're wearing foundation garments, you should still be able to put on the outfit without the foundation garments. If you have to put on foundation garments to fit into the garment probably doesn't fit. The foundation garments simply are supposed to smooth the lines, give you the appropriate shape. It's shapewear. You're adding shape to your body so that your clothing looks the way it's supposed to look, because it's a design feature. Your body's not supposed to look like that. Your clothing is supposed to look like that. Therefore, you wear a corset or a girdle or a specific kind of bra to make your body change to fit the clothing. These last two skirts that I have made are a solid inch all the way around, very consistently, too small. And I have no explanation, none. I have been struggling with this for about 24 hours when I finally figured out that no, I had not, in fact, gained weight, changed size, like first I was thinking that it was my body, and therefore I redrafted things based upon what had happened, and I was like, it's about an inch, so I'm going to take a quarter of an inch, expand things out, so I took this and I expanded, but then once this was done, which wasn't on the schedule, so I've been wildly derailed from filming again, and I took this and then I laid it over this, and I was like, that is way different. I mean, that's wildly different. That doesn't make sense. And then I got this out, the original, and then I compared it, and let me show you. This is the front of flat me. This is the pattern that I used. This is correct. We know that this is supposed to fit me. Here's the problem. This is the skirt that you're about to watch me draft, cut out, and sew. This is the edge. This is the front. This is your front seam. Here's the pattern. We are talking a full ½ inch. This is nuts. I feel absolutely insane right now because I can watch myself on the film and I can see 0 mistakes. So this seam is supposed to line up perfectly with this, and then you can see that at the low hip, I started going out. I agree with all of that. But then we come over here. This is at least ½ inch more out. That is a ¼ inch dart. This alone right here, that is on the inside. This does not fit. It's not going to. I didn't even meet, let's move that over to right here. Okay, fine. But that high hip, that is where it is actually very, very tight. How did this happen? Because here's the problem. I have, unlike all the other seamstresses out there, I have everything that I have done recorded. And I have actually gone through in detail, watching everything. I don't know what I did. It looks right. It looks completely correct. I can see myself cut out a full inch for seam allowance. I have confirmed my seam allowance, my process for it on my machine. It is correct. I can see what I have done every single step of the way. I have no explanation. None. None. None at all. Please watch. And we're just going to bounce into past me, who thought that everything was awesome and good and really excited about my first project for the new year. Oh, you sweet summer child. Today's project is a 4-gore silk skirt with grosgrain, not grosgrain, grosgrain. You see, I am self-taught, which means everything that I'm doing is coming out of books. And if it comes out of books, sometimes you mispronounce things. And this is perfect for a waistband. So I'm going to recreate the waistband that I did in the last skirt, because it was really nice and I like the way it lays. I like the way it looks. It is so much better than everything that I've done up to now. I am going to be merging the Haslam System of Dress Cutting 1949 pattern on page 13 and some instructions from this book. Links will be in the pinned comment. The zipper, I will be following instructions from this book. Again, check the pinned comment. The waistband will be a self-facing waistband, and the zipper is going to be inserted entirely by hand. Why? Because Couture Sewing says so. Let's begin. This 4-gore skirt has 2 panels in the front and 2 in the back. I first took my flat knee pattern and traced it. I lengthened it, and since this is an A-line skirt, I widened it at the bottom on both sides by 2 inches. This will result in an additional 16 inches around the bottom of the skirt. I used a 90-degree angle up from the bottom to ensure an easy joining at the seams. I dropped from the high hip down to the bottom, and the darts and zippers will stay the exact same and need no change. I am planning on a 29-inch waist, and although I will thread mark where the darts are going, please consider those general suggestions, and those will be resolved when I put in the waistband. Remember that ironing is not optional and that you want to iron the material flat, and that if you are crazy aggressive with dragging the iron, you can easily misshape in the fabric, which will absolutely get transferred to your final product, and you don't want that. I am experimenting once again with cutting on the bias and am delighted that I had enough material to do so. Skirt will hang differently according to the placement of the grain line on the pattern pieces. To achieve different drapes, the grain line can be placed parallel to the side seam, parallel to the center back and front, or down the middle of the pattern piece, or on the bias. I've placed the grain line on this 4-gore skirt on the bias. The skirt should drape smoothly and evenly. The grosgrain ribbon is cut to exactly 29 inches, and the front and back of the waistband is cut larger. Larger is subjective and should be quite simply something that makes sense to you. Let's not get crazy picky here. I'm going to take the front seam down the middle. I'm going to French seam that first. Then I'm going to take the back 2 pieces and attach the sides on both sides of the front. Then I'm going to seam up the back of the back up to the zipper, insert the zipper by hand, and then hand stitch in this, which will determine the exact darts here. Let's make this happen. Baste your zipper in, and remember that this is where you determine if you actually have good placement, so really take your time. Right about here is where it is hitting me that I put in the most amount of time that I have ever put into any skirt, minus the ball gown. I've never done this volume of hand sewing, even for the ball gown. You are looking at a montage of days worth of sewing for me, and I love the result. I'll totally do this again. This is the nicest construction I've ever done, and the result is so worth it. But it doesn't fit. Okay, you can see the lines right here where the material is puckering right through here. You can see that it is pulled tight over the abdomen and that it's not falling nicely through here. This is not cut correctly. It is the fault of the pattern, and why it did that, I don't know. You see, I keep on doing this and trying to suck in, and it's like, that's not how you make clothing fit. You cut the material better, you make the pattern better. You do not suck in so that you can be comfortable in your clothing. That's not how things work. That's not how you're comfortable in your clothing. And you can see the bubbling right here. This entire high hip is too tight, and I have no idea where that inch went, because it poofed, and it's not reflected here the way it is in the pattern. I have no explanation. So at this point, my conclusion is, one, I'm going to read the comments, so leave me a comment. Two, abandon everything and start sewing for my Jane Austen Bridgerton era fantasy clothing for costume college. I could absolutely do that. There is no hip line there. Okay. And or I double down and I make this exact same skirt again, and that forevermore. Every once in a while, recheck with the pattern and just do a flat lay of the pattern over and make sure I haven't just deleted somehow an inch of fabric and just poofed it into existence.